Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into an academic review of one of the most fascinating, mind-bending ancient texts out there, the Book of Enoch. But listen, we aren't just looking at this as some dusty old myth. We're going to analyze it as a profound, enduring allegory about the very real dangers of premature knowledge. As we unpack this narrative, you'll see how it brilliantly uses celestial beings and literal giants to represent forces that are incredibly relevant to us even today. So let's set the stage by defining the core philosophical tension we're looking at today. On one side, we have the ancient law. In this narrative, that's the established cosmic order. It's all about non-interference and natural balance. Opposing it, we have human ambition. Now, ambition here isn't portrayed as your standard healthy human drive to do better. Instead, it's this destructive hubris fueled entirely by the premature acquisition of advanced knowledge. This massive clash between universal balance and unchecked ambition, that is the engine driving this entire story. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the Enochian allegory, move into the law of balance, and then look at the catalyst of ambition. After that, we've got giants, ambition personified, followed by judgment and cosmic order, and we'll wrap it all up with the final takeaway. All right, part 1, the Enochian allegory. This gives us our framework for understanding cosmic balance.
The source material describes this incredible era where humanity just lived in simple, peaceful villages beneath the shade of ancient trees. They were totally reliant on natural progression. The earth had the purity of its very first breath, you know? And this brilliantly illustrates our starting thesis. The text says the children of the stars arrived when the earth still knew nothing of fear. They brought with them secrets from other worlds and stirred the ambition of humankind. So the arrival of these beings, the Watchers, wasn't just some physical descent from the mountains. It was a literal injection of ambition into a primitive, innocent society. It was the exact catalyst that ruptured the boundary between heaven and earth.
Moving right along to section 2, the law of balance, the principle of non-interference. To really grasp the tragic fall in this story, we first have to understand the ancient law that governed this universe. The text lays out a clear cosmic rule orchestrated by a supreme creator named El-Eliora. It's a universe intricately designed for natural harmony. El-Elior created these celestial guardians known as the Orhalim, or Watchers, and their job was to guard young, fragile worlds like Earth. But here is the catch, the supreme law. They were to observe silently from Mount Hermon without any direct interference. None. They were meant to let humanity, which was still in this primitive, peaceful state, grow at its own moral pace. Basically, the golden rule was, look, but do not touch.
Which brings us to section 3, the catalyst of ambition, the injection of forbidden knowledge.
So, how does this law get broken? It happens through two very distinct types of forbidden intervention by the lead Watchers, Semyaza and Azazel. And if we look at their actions side by side, we get a fascinating look at the dual nature of ambition. First, you have Semyaza. He actually attempts a benign uplift. He's motivated by a genuine longing to ease human suffering, so he teaches humans astronomy, how to track seasons, and how to measure time to improve their harvests. Sounds great, right? But then there is Azazel. Azazel injects the dark root of destruction. He teaches metallurgy, the forging of spears and swords, and eventually shares a devastating incendiary alchemy. His motivation was completely different. He wanted to give humanity dominance and power over others. The allegory hits this point really hard. Technological advancement without moral maturity is fundamentally toxic. In fact, Sapphira, a human woman in the text, intuits this pretty early on. She actually questions Azazel on how weapons could possibly bring anything but war. The crucial takeaway here is articulated beautifully by the celestial guardian Uriel when he finally shows up to confront them. He says, knowledge granted without the proper maturity was poison disguised as blessing. And if we map this out historically within the text, things escalate incredibly fast. You have the initial arrival and descent of the Watchers from Mount Hermon. That leads directly to the teaching of those forbidden arts, astronomy, metals, fire. But then they cross a massive biological line, resulting in the birth of the giants from the unnatural union of Watchers and humans. Finally, as human ambition inevitably turns to violence using Azazel's gifts, we get complete societal collapse and the sacking of neighboring villages. It's a total domino effect.
That takes us to section 4, giants, ambition personified, the physical manifestation of hubris.
As part of our academic review, we really need to look at the giants in this text not just as literal monsters, but as a metaphor. Nimruth, Arhan, and Damal, born from that union of heaven and earth, they represent human hubris completely outgrowing its environment.
They possessed unmanageable power. I mean, they could literally rip stones from the earth, but they entirely lacked the wisdom to use that strength responsibly. They had this endless hunger, just devouring entire harvests meant for the village, which immediately created scarcity and starvation. The villagers actually thought they had them under control at first, but the text notes that this illusion of control was totally shattered when Nimruth effortlessly destroyed a village house just to show off to some kids. The giants represent a power that consumes everything, provides absolutely nothing, and ultimately destroys its creators.
Which means someone has to step in and fix it. Section 5, Judgment and Cosmic Order. Oriel restores the balance. This is a huge realization moment for our narrator, Enoch. He's watching human villages burn. Nimrod, wounded in a battle, demands revenge, and Azazel hands the humans that incendiary alchemy, an unquenchable fire. When Enoch sees humans using this gift to literally burn a neighboring village to ashes, it completely proves Azazel's dark hypothesis about human nature. It cements a terrifying reality. Power without wisdom is the open door to suffering. The natural balance is so entirely broken that the cosmos itself has to intervene. And that cosmic intervention arrives in the form of Uriel, a high celestial guardian. Uriel steps in to restore the balance, and he systematically cleans house, neutralizing the sources of the corruption. Let's look at how he handles it. The giants, or Nephilim, are deemed unnatural anomalies. Arhan and Damal are literally dissolved by raw lightning, and Nimruth flees to the barren lands. Azazel, the guy who orchestrated this whole dominance thing, is condemned. He's bound in chains of solid light and entombed inside a mountain. Semieza, who actually repented and realized he messed up, is acknowledged for that, but he's still exiled back to the celestial realm of Ashtara. And humanity? Well, deemed corrupted beyond repair, they are scheduled for purification via a great flood. It's a stark reminder that the ancient laws of the universe will ultimately auto-correct any artificial imbalance, no matter the cost.
Finally, Section 6, the final takeaway, the enduring warning of this allegory.
Enoch doesn't stick around for the flood. He actually departs Earth in Uriel's sphere of light, and as he ascends, he witnesses the true, unfathomable scale of the cosmic infrastructure. We're talking pillars of fire and singing stars. He arrives in the celestial realm of Astara and beholds the formless, infinite energy of Elelior. It's out there that Enoch realizes humanity was just one tiny, fragile spark in a massive, meticulously balanced cosmic machine. He's given a specific mandate: preserve this history, this incredibly hard-learned lesson for Noah's surviving bloodline.
Which leads us to the very last words Enoch leaves us with, and I really want to leave you with this provocative final thought from the text. He says, "Do not give life to what you cannot understand, for it will not know how to love you, but it will surely know how to judge you." As we continue to push the boundaries of our own technological ambitions today, whether we're talking about artificial intelligence, genetic engineering, or whatever comes next, this ancient academic allegory demands that we step back and ask ourselves, are we giving life to powers we lack the moral maturity to control? Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I'll leave you to ponder that question.